Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kyle Kitzman channel. This is obviously my channel where I talk about things that are going on. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan, so as you can see, all the Broncos stuff behind you. Um, Today was not a good day for the Broncos. Not a good day for Broncos country in general. Justin Simmons no longer a Denver Bronco. The Denver Broncos released safety Justin Simmons today, saving the team $14.5 million in cap space. When I first saw this, I was in disbelief. I was like, there's no way. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this is the reality of where we're at right now. In the past 7 years since Super Bowl 50, I guess 8 years, 9 years, 2016 and until now, we have been avoiding the terminology rebuild. I know a lot of times we felt like we had a good team, but we were just a quarterback away. And then, we drafted Drew Lock and we went with Teddy Bridgewater and we tried Joe Flacco and Case Keenum, and the list goes on and on. But we never really thought or said that we were in a rebuild. It was more we just are a quarterback away. And that's all kind of changing for the first time. And I didn't really expect it because with Sean Payton taking over, there was a part of me that felt like, okay, we're only going to be moving forward from here on out. And I guess that narrative is just not real. We are in a full rebuild right now. I don't know if people are aware, but nobody is safe right now. Nobody. Some people are saying Patrick Surtain. I would think, but I also would have thought Justin Simmons was safe. I mean, Justin Simmons is playing safety. Safety is one of the positions that we know that you can play as you get older and later into your career. So the fact that they were willing to part ways with him, I don't know, it just tells me that nobody's safe because Justin Simmons is a Hall of Fame safety. I mean, he's one Super Bowl ring away and maybe 3 more first team All Pros. Justin Simmons is a total superstar, and I'm going to talk more about him in a little bit. But when Denver was willing to get rid of him, it just shows you whatever it takes to free up the money. And it's crazy because Justin Simmons has always been really the heart and soul of our defense. It was Von Miller, but when Von Miller was traded to the Rams, Justin Simmons was already kind of that leader, but it just became more apparent. And from a Bronco fan that watches all the press conferences, I mean, I always saw Justin Simmons carry himself in the most professional manner. I mean, he was a total star on the podium. He's just everything you want your franchise player to be. He was nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. He does so much stuff with the Boys and Girls Club. He's really, really a player that is deserving of a Super Bowl. And I know sometimes there's players that just never get a ring. And part that sucks so much about this is that nobody deserves the Broncos' success more than Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons has been through all of these coaching changes, all of these quarterbacks. He's bought into all of these philosophies. And unfortunately, never made the playoffs. This is a guy that was drafted in 2016. He, in the whole entire period of time from now until the Super Bowl, that whole, I mean, we call this a very dark time in Broncos history. I mean, you got to understand that before this little time period, Denver had more Super Bowl appearances than losing seasons. They're not a losing franchise. So this has been the darkest cloud in at least in my lifetime for the Denver Broncos. And I grew up watching them in the early 2000s, and even with Jake Plummer and Mike Anderson and Tatum Bell, Champ Bailey, John Lynch. I mean, those teams were still in the playoffs. So, I mean, we lost to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, and then the Steelers went on to beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl in 2005. But that's kind of how I grew up watching the Broncos. If I had to make a parallel, how kids growing up right now view the 49ers is kind of how I felt. We weren't Tom Brady. We weren't one of those teams that had the greatest quarterback in the game. That would be Mahomes today. But we were like the 49ers. I mean, we would either be in a playoff game or especially before they won back-to-back. They went to quite a bit, I think 4 Super Bowls in the 80s. So Denver had been to the big game. It's just we had never been through such a drought. We had a winning season. I believe we were 9-7 in 2016, but since then, we haven't even put together a winning season. There has been dark times with Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio. Gary Kubiak leaving right after winning that Super Bowl. We've had to do quite a few rebuilds, but Justin Simmons has been a Bronco through all of this. And that's what really sucks about this, is that when Denver turns it around, Justin Simmons is not going to be able to bear the fruit from the tree that he planted. And it just bothers me. It bothers me a lot because it's just not fair. And I know, look, for Justin Simmons, I know that he's probably he's a great guy. I mean, he's strong in his faith. He's got good people around him. I'm sure he's going to be really positive about this next new chapter, and whatever franchise that he goes to is just so lucky. He's going to make your locker room stronger. He's going to make your city better. I mean, this is the kind of player we're talking about, a player that makes your city better. There's not a ton of these guys around. And it's just, I hope for Justin Simmons that he knows that for the fans of the Denver Broncos, that we understand his greatness and we didn't take it for granted, because Justin Simmons was one of those guys that would stand outside in the rain after losing to the Chiefs 41-10. He would come out of the locker room, and instead of walking straight through to the parking lot to get in his car and drive home, he would sign every single autograph. I'm telling you, hundreds. He would spend a full hour doing this. Now, I went to one of my first Broncos game, and I got an autograph from him. I still have the sweater hanging up. I still have it hanging up. It's got a big J and a big S, and he threw his number in there. And you could talk to him as well. He'll talk. He would say something, or you would say something about the game, or hey, keep your head up, it's a long season. But he would acknowledge you, and he would take a picture if that's what your thing. Some people want autographs, other people want pictures. And it just takes a lot to be losing the way the Broncos were losing for the past 9 years and just not let it beat you up and not let it take a toll on you. That's what is most impressive about Justin Simmons is Justin Simmons, the man, was just absolutely remarkable. So, okay, I think enough of that. But I just wanted it to be known. Um, it really does suck that Denver, and I said this could be a little bit of like a State of the Union. It does feel like Denver, with the releasing of Justin Simmons and, of course, the Russell Wilson news 2 days ago, I think it's safe to officially say that the Denver Broncos are in a rebuild. They are getting rid of their most, I guess, pricey assets right now. Justin Simmons, his impact as a Denver Bronco extends far beyond his exceptional play during 8 seasons with our organization. This was a statement released from the Denver Broncos. In addition to growing into an all-pro and team captain, Justin became our perennial Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, devoted to uplifting others and using his influence for positive change. Whether it was in Denver or his hometown of Stuart, Florida, Justin inspired and mentored countless youth while providing unwavering support to the community. The hundreds of hours he spent at the Denver Broncos Boys and Girls Club will be as much a part of Justin's legacy with the Broncos as his leadership, dependability, and many interceptions. Nobody has more interceptions since Justin Simmons entered the league as Justin Simmons. Justin will always be a Bronco, and we thank him for the outstanding manner in which he represented our organization on and off the field. We wish Justin, his wife Taryn, and their children, Laney, Shae, and Kyler, the very best in the future. Releasing such a statement suggests the Broncos will not be re-signing the safety at a cheaper rate. Denver likely asked Simmons to take a pay cut before releasing him. So it looks like Denver asked Justin Simmons if he would take a pay cut, and he said no. Now, PJ Locke is scheduled to become a free agent next week, so the Broncos' remaining safeties under contract for next year is Caden Stearns, who we drafted out of Texas, Delarian Turner-Yell, J.L. Skinner, who we drafted out of Boise State last year, Devin Key, and Tanner McAllister. So Justin Simmons did release a classy statement after being cut by the Broncos. The Denver Broncos released him, and this is what Simmons said on his Twitter/X page. All love. God is good. There's so much to say and so much to be thankful for, but it's hard to put these 8 years of gratitude into words. First and foremost, thank you to John Elway, Joe Ellis, and Mr. Pat Bolin and the Bolin family. From the start, or from the bottom of my heart, you gave a kid out of Boston College in Stuart, Florida, a chance to start the journey of a lifetime with the prestigious Broncos organization. You gave me the foundation to become a better player, better man, and eventually a better captain. I hope my game and character represented everything it meant to be a Bronco. I would also like to thank George Payton and the Walter Penner family ownership group on believing in me and allowing me to continue to lead as I competed for this organization. I never took a moment of that for granted. Secondly, thank you all. Thank you to all of the amazing staff at the facility. I had the chance to stop by and thank each of you in person, but wanted to again recognize that you were all a huge reason for my success in Denver. I will never forget any of you and forever am thankful for your influence and help for my growth, not only in my career, but for me as a father, husband, brother, and teammate. Additionally, to Broncos country, the greatest fans in the world, Thank you for embracing me and Taryn as a newly married couple and watching us leave as a beautiful family with 3 beautiful children 8 years later. You've always supported us consistently, both on and off the field. I'm going to miss walking down into the stadium on game day and signing for every fan on the way coming in and the other way after the game. Telling you, I didn't even read this. There's nothing like the game day atmosphere at Mile High Stadium and running out into the sea of orange. I don't have any regrets over the past 8 seasons, but I'm truly sorry that I couldn't deliver on getting you back to the postseason. I understand it's a business, but as a captain and leader, I'm disappointed that I won't see this thing through. I will always love you, Broncos country. Lastly, to my teammates, man, thank you guys for everything. You guys are the reason why it was so easy to go to work and continue to improve my game. You all pushed me every day and challenged me both on and off the field. The highest honor was being voted a 3-time captain by you guys. Truly grateful for that. I love y'all, and I can't say thank you enough for all the support you have shown me and my family. Band of brothers for life, and y'all know that. My family and I are looking forward to the next chapter, and I cannot wait to see where we end up. I am more motivated than ever. Nobody can stop what God has in store. His plan is perfect. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart, with all my heart. And yeah, that is Justin Simmons' official statement. All class. I mean, what would you expect? But it does suck. And honestly, when I commented on how I felt about Justin Simmons being cut, I didn't read his statement. So I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of the things that I said were in the statement, like the fact that Justin Simmons survived the darkest period of time in maybe Broncos history. And he's not even going to be able to see this thing through when Denver does turn it around. That part kind of sucks. And then talking about all the autographs that he signs going in and out of the stadium, he's the only player that I've ever seen like that. I'm not talking about somebody that signs 10 or 15. Justin Simmons would stand outside and sign every article that there was to sign, every picture that could possibly be taken. This is just the kind of guy that he was. And that's why I have 3 autographs from him as well. Like he's about 2 Super Bowls away and 3 more NFL All-Pros from being a MVP safety. Nobody has more interceptions as him since joining the NFL. But for the Denver Broncos, we're in a rebuild. It's crazy because we always said that we weren't in a rebuild. No, we're just a quarterback away. We're just a quarterback away. But losing Russell Wilson 2 days ago and now getting rid of Justin Simmons and this financial situation that we found ourselves in, who would have thought that we would be in a full-on rebuild after we acquired Sean Payton? Sean Payton kind of seemed like the guy that was going to come in and keep us from going into a rebuild. But he did acquire this awful contract. The contract didn't need to be signed. I mean, Russell Wilson still had 2 years on his Seahawks contract, so that didn't ever need to happen, but they decided to do it anyway. And I think Sean said, you know what? I'm going to try to fix Russ. And he probably even enjoyed the challenge a little bit. And by all metrics, he did. Russ was 31st and 32nd in most metrics, and he got Russell Wilson up to around 15. He had to shorten his terminology, and it handicapped Sean Payton as a play caller by a large amount. So much so that, I mean, imagine how much money, the $85 million of dead cap money. Imagine how much Sean must feel that Russ is bad for the Broncos to be willing to put that $85 million on a scale, and keeping Russ is still the worst option. I'm just saying, this is a bad contract if that's the case. So the Broncos are likely going to have to re-sign PJ Locke. PJ Locke is gonna probably be that guy that's gonna step up with Justin Simmons being gone. Locke's 27 years old. He entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent out of Texas in 2019. I think Caden Stearns came from Texas as well. Locke is scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent on March 13th. Denver could prevent him from hitting free agency by giving him an extension. So Locke came in as an undrafted player. He was a key special teams player and rotational defensive back from 2000 to 2022. And then he was asked to step up as a fill-in starting safety, and he did a really good job. Following an injury to Caden Stearns and multiple suspensions for Kareem Jackson, because Kareem Jackson kept getting freaking canned. Caden Stearns was a guy that stepped up during all that. He started 8 games last season, and he ended the season with 53 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception in 12 games. So following the release of Simmons, Locke will likely be the priority free agent to get a deal done with. And that's probably what happened. They just saw the level PJ Locke was playing at and said, yeah, it's the juice isn't worth the squeeze to keep Justin Simmons for that much. If we could get, even if he's not as good as Justin Simmons, a little bit less for way cheaper is the point. And these are decisions that you don't have to make unless you're in the type of situation Denver finds themselves in, especially with the cap being $30 million more than it was projected to be. Most teams have the ability to keep a couple stars. Denver's in a position now where if you're a star, we have to get rid of you. We need everybody to be on rookie deals or the offensive line is pretty much the exception. Ben Powers, Mike McGlinchey, Quinn Martinez is in for a payday, and Lloyd Cushenberry is going to be a free agent. And he was the most improved player PFF-wise on the Denver Broncos last season. So there's a lot. There's a lot that's going to have to be figured out here. But I was joking about the State of the Union because the State of the Union was tonight. But in all reality, this is a full-on rebuild. And I'm trying to see really quick. Yeah, so Justin Simmons gone. Josie Jewell is also a free agent. He was our leading tackler. So him and Alex Singleton also have really good chemistry. So is he going? And if he stays, like how much money is he willing to be playing? Because they're saying he should get, I don't know if they're saying he should get $5.5 million or he did last year. But regardless, Will Lutz, our kicker, free agent. Mike Purcell, who he always signs back with us somehow. K'Wan Williams, Cameron Fleming, he's our tackle. PJ Locke, Michael Burton, and Fabian Moru. Okay. Out of all these people, Josie Jewell, K'Wan Williams, if you'll do it for cheap, because I saw some promise last season, and PJ Locke. Sorry, Will Lutz, Mike Purcell, but all those other guys got to go. Let's see what the market value is. All right, the calculated market value for Josie Jewell is $7.6 million. That's not cheap, but that's also nothing's really affordable right now. That's the problem. And I just can't believe Denver can't get anything for Justin Simmons. Like, why couldn't we trade him? Is there something I'm not understanding? Does that mean nobody wanted him? Man, left tackle Garrett Bowles, who's set to make $20 million. Cortland Sutton is set to make $17 million. DJ Jones set to make 12. Tim Patrick set to make 15 million. Dude, I have a feeling all these players are going to be gone. I have a really big feeling this is how the dominoes are going to fall. You're going to have players like Mike McGlinchey, Zach Allen, Ben Powers, who are going to restructure. They would also save 12 million, almost 13 million if they traded Jerry Jeudy. I think they're going to trade him for a draft pick. I think it's going to happen during the draft. But Cortland Sutton, Garrett Bowles, DJ Jones, and Tim Patrick, they're gone. They're gone. I'm telling you. Unless these guys are willing to restructure, like, these guys are all gone, dude. This is, I guess, what has to happen because of what happened. And it's crazy that that's what Sean knew. He's like, okay, well, we're $70 million in the hole. Watch this. You, and you're gone. Okay. Now we're back to where we started. Well, at least we can start moving forward. I mean, like, this is just ripping the Band-Aid off, isn't it? A little bit. That's the way it feels. We'll see what happens in the next coming days. I would have bet that Justin Simmons was safe, but my mind is totally changed, just based on the reality of the situation right now. So, trying to see if there's anybody. Yeah. And the bottom line is, if Justin Simmons isn't safe, nobody is safe. Justin Simmons was, I think, the safest. Patrick Surtain as well. I mean, I really don't want to see Denver, Surtain has to stay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Denver is going to be trying to build these replacements through the draft, or is this, are there free agents that are going to be available that Denver's going to be interested in? Hopefully it's not just Saints. I'm really tired of the ex-Saint thing. Mike Purcell, K'Waun Williams, those were the big names. Adam Trotman is going to be a free agent. He was an ex-Saint. Sean Payton got him to be tight end. Yeah, PJ Locke, in all honesty, might be the only name that comes back. That is just where we're at right now. So I've already done my mock draft. My mock draft was pretty sick, if I do say so myself. I'll tell you what I did for my mock draft, just because this is like something I would only do on this channel. Okay. Where is it? Media. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I started the draft and I picked first, 12th overall. And I traded Jerry Jeudy to the Colts and the 12th overall pick. What did I receive? The 15th overall pick. But I got a second rounder, a third rounder, and a fourth rounder. Okay. And I did give the Colts a fifth round pick. So I moved back to 15. Okay. Then the Steelers were interested in moving up. They had the 20th pick, and I was like, hey, let's swap. And they were like, okay. Because whatever they wanted, they really wanted it. So I got the 20th overall pick. I took their pick. And then I also got a round 2, a second round pick next year, and a fourth round pick, a 6th, and a 7th. Then at 20th overall, I finally selected Taryn Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama, to work with Surtain, who's also a cornerback out of Alabama. And then I was on the clock next at 46. At 46, I trade with the Giants and move back to 47, and then I get another 4th round pick for that. Then my next pick was at 47. And what did I do? I'd moved back to 50 with the Eagles. I gave them round 250. They or I gave them round 247. They gave me round 250. But I also received another 2nd round pick. So now I finally pick. Okay, so I picked Chop Robinson in the 2nd round with the 50th overall pick out of Penn State. Okay, then I come back on the board in 4 picks because of the trade I did up there, and I draft Jonathan Brooks. I would have rather drafted the running back out of Florida State, Trey Benson. I didn't even see who's available till after I selected Jonathan Brooks. So could I go back and do it again? I would have gotten Trey Benson here. And then wide receiver, I drafted Jalen McMillan. PFF graded that as an A minus. Chop Robinson was an A. Mostly I got a lot of A minuses. Then I was on the clock again at pick 108, and I got Kalen King, cornerback out of Penn State. Then I got a center, Cedric Van Pran. He was one of the best centers in this draft. I got him because I figured we can't afford Lloyd Cushenberry, even though he was improved. So I'm looking to plug and play him immediately. And I know Sean loves his tight end. So next I got Cade Stover out of Ohio State. And then at 143, I drafted a safety out of Wake Forest. And this is really good, especially with what happened with Simmons. Malik Mustafa. This guy is a freaking just animal. Look at this guy's stuff. Malik Malik Mustafa. Mustapha. Dude, this guy's build is just insane. And then later I got the best kicker in the draft, Will Reichard out of Alabama. I got Bryson Nesbitt, wide receiver from North Carolina. And also before the draft even started, I gave a next year 2nd round pick, 3rd and 7th for Justin Fields. So I'm going in with Justin Fields, and then all these players. But look, this is the kind of draft Denver needs to have. Look at the let's see. Whatever. You guys, let me try one more time. There we go. Look at all those players. All of those players. Denver needs to have that mindset. Like, we need to, instead of just releasing these guys, we need to try to get as much value as possible. You know, I'm tired of seeing people just get kicked out. And Bill said, sorry to hear about Simmons for you. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, man, it sucks. I hadn't felt that way about a player in a long time. Because me and Rick are going live tomorrow, and I was like, dude, I can't. I have to talk about the Justin Simmons news because I almost think it would be disrespectful to wait until tomorrow. But I really do hope wherever he goes, I hope he wins. I hope he just has a ton of success. I really hope he doesn't end up on another losing team. Like, he really does deserve to go somewhere that's competing for a Super Bowl. That's That's my wish for him. And I think he's not going to last on the market very long. His resume just speaks for itself, but man, it does suck. Like I I hate that. I hate that we're going to have to experience hopefully winning without the guy that deserves to be there. He deserves to reap all of the good things that he's sown. I mean, his fingerprints are all over our defense and the rookies, and that he's, coached them, and now we got to do it without him. And that part kind of sucks, but this is the part of the business. This news bothers me so much worse than the Russell Wilson news, because Russell Wilson was with us for a couple years, and still it was sad. But Justin Simmons, this is kind of like the Von Miller news that we got a couple years ago. You can only lose a guy like this, every 10 years or so. And I guess it's just our time to lose our guys. And well, I'm excited to see what young players going to step up and fill that role. If Caden Stearns is going to do it, I wish him all the luck. But Sean, playing with fire, man. Because if you're going to get rid of all the best players on the team, you got to be at least winning football games. And he can say I inherited a bad team. He can say that last year, but this new year, this is going to be his team. And there's probably a deal already worked out, like, hey, if we're not good this year, it's because we're going to have to get rid of all of these guys. So there's probably some grace there, but for the fans, like, we're really tired of experiments. We're tired of not winning. So I think it's getting to that point where pressure is going to be on Sean early into next season. But all right, guys, that is the news for today. Justin Simmons no longer a Denver Bronco. Justin Simmons going to find somebody else to play with as of March 7, 2024. And oh, real quick, so why the Broncos didn't trade Justin Simmons? There's likely two explanations. The first being that Simmons' contract situation. He's set to turn 31 this season before becoming a free agent next spring. Why would another team trade a draft pick for a one-year rental, especially when they have to take on his full $14.5 million salary? The second reason is a flooded market. Simmons is not the only big-name safety to get cut for cap reasons. Jamal Adams, Kevin Byard, Jordan Poyer. I'm taking Justin Simmons over all these guys. Eddie Jackson, I think he was a Bear. So they're saying likely there was no trade market for him. He's talented, but no team would be willing to give up a draft pick for a 30-year-old safety that costs $14.5 million. Well, I would have thought that a team would have been willing to do that, to be honest. Like, I mean, this is a Pro Bowler. But, they just don't know him that well, I guess. Or they're just like, no, we'll just draft one, post-draft. A lot of these guys get picked post-draft because they're like, all right, we're going to see if we can draft a guy. But if we don't get the guy that we want, we know that these free agents are in the background as options. So that's probably what's going to ultimately happen. But all right, guys, more on this tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and Rick are going to be doing our only football podcast. So thanks for coming in and stopping by, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. See ya.